I'll try the cloud, see how that works.
It says it's recording.
Yeah. Just you and me so far. Did you hear from Jim at all today?
No,
No.
I just sent him that one email this morning and he hasn't responded, so I didn't bother.
No, I'll leave him alone.
I did send an email to the BAO, but they haven't responded yet, so.
Okay, oh, good. You mean with the, you sent the material and the check and everything?
No, I want to know who I make the check out to.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I asked Andre to put some blank checks on the mayor's desk so that he can sign them in case I have to make a check tomorrow.
Right.
At least I won't have to get him in to sign it.
Yeah, okay.
It's nice and sunny outside tonight.
Yeah? What's the
Yeah.
temperature?
About 17, I guess.
Yeah, it's about 27 here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And tomorrow's going to be like 38.
oh yeah?
Yeah. And then by Friday, it's going to be like 12.
Wow. Here it's 26. Sorry, I thought it was 17.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's 26. Yeah. Tomorrow is going to be 20. So it
Oh, it's
says.
not bad either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still only early June, right?
Yeah, yeah. You say that, but it's not, it's below, I think it's below normal.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
I can get down from there. There.
Dr. Steinberg texted me today. He was so excited. He set up his own Zoom account. So he wants to have a meeting with me tomorrow night at 6:30.
To go through his PPEs or just?
No, just to
this?
talk. Just to talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zoom is a pretty popular platform.
Yes, it is. And that's not bad for $200 for all the meetings we could have for the rest of the year for $200.
Yeah.
It's unlimited, right?
Yeah. Well, you're clearer now. I don't know what you did, but you're not as fuzzy.
I feel fuzzy. It says, I got a note from Zoom. It says, your participant, Peter Johnson, is waiting for you to let him in the room. Come on in, Peter.
Get on, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no password on this one, eh?
There's no what?
There was no password.
Oh, no, I didn't click that box because I didn't want, we will do that like next week when we invite participants, but I didn't want to make it complicated in case we couldn't get on.
Oh, okay. I changed the cord on my phone in my office because I think that was creating a problem. It was broken.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's why I couldn't hear you sometimes, and all I could hear was static. So I'd have to sit there and hold the cord, make sure that I could jiggle it and hear you properly. So I
Yeah, yeah.
changed it. Yeah, hopefully it'll be better.
Well, and
But
I'll
it's just a little short one.
just have to remind everybody, or you can, that when they're not speaking, they should stay on mute so we don't garble the sound.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't send you that. I think I told you about that video that Randy was being rather playful. I should have sent. I'll send that to you later.
Okay.
It's so funny. I mean, if he does that tonight, I'll just break out laughing. Did you ever see that movie, Son of a Woman, with Al Pacino?
Yes.
Yeah, great
Yes.
movie.
Quite
Great
a
movie.
few times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It is. And have you gone? Oh, I was gonna say, have you gone to the theater? But the theaters are closed.
Yeah, I know.
Drive-ins are open though.
Yep. And Lisa Grove sent Randy and I a note saying that, now that drive-in theaters are open, she wants to have that event in July. And it's a great idea. I just don't know how the neighbors are going to react to maybe 1,600 people coming into Bonfield.
Yeah, well, that's just it. But she could start a drive-in there instead of racing.
Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, that's a great location for that. And I think drive-in theaters are going to have a resurgence. I don't think people are going to want to go into theaters for a while. Maybe ever, but I don't think they're going to want to go into theaters this fall. But a drive-in theater, I love that.
Oh, I do too. And there was one in North Bay, and it was really sad when they tore it down to put up apartment buildings, because that was a novelty way of going to see the movies. So
yeah, we used to do that almost every weekend in the summer. Mom and Dad and my brother and I would in the car. I love that.
Yeah,
great movies, and walk outside, and we'd always have to go in our pajamas so that when we got home, it was right to bed.
Yes. We went to see Roger and I, Little Big Man with Dustin Hoffman.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a good movie. We went to see that
3 times, and we never saw the movie.
That was a. Why didn't you see it? Why?
Well, for the drive-in, but we had to buy it to actually see the movie. When it came out on VHS, we had to buy it.
Yeah. Great movie, but my goodness, it was long.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But that was based on a true story, though.
Yep. And the co-star in that movie, Costner was the star, but the co-star in that movie was an actual Canadian, native Canadian.
Was that right?
Green. Yeah, he played the Chief.
Graham Greene.
No, not Graham. Is it Graham?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a Canadian native, and he was in all kinds of movies in his career.
Yeah.
He played the Chief.
Yeah, I like Graham Greene.
Yeah, me too. And you're right, it was a true story. That Chief didn't die, or lived rather a long life. He died like 10 years ago.
Yeah. The last movie Graham Greene was in Peanut Butter. Oh, I forget what the part of it is, but it's about a handicapped person that leaves home. He leaves not a retire home, but a long care term home.
Yeah.
And Graham Greene is one of the residents there, so it's pretty good. Yeah.
No, he's a great actor. Great actor.
Yeah. I forget what the name of it is. It's Peanut Butter something, but that's a good movie.
Yeah, I never heard of it. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I sent Hassan a movie that my daughter showed her grade 8 class in Hungary. It's called Fire and Ice, and I want to watch it myself. I watched the trailer, and it was about you know, how we can use the rising sea levels actually reverse climate change. It was Lisa said it was just amazing.
Really?
There's so much, and I kept hoping for this. There's so much going on right now, Diane, in the scientific world, that we're you know, that are ways that we might, if we put our mind to it, combat climate change. For example, there's an animal that lives 1,000 feet under the sea. It's like a giant amoeba, okay? And it collects the carbon in the ocean that normally would float up to the surface and then into the air, and it eats it, and then it digests it, and it falls to the surface, to the bottom of the ocean, and into the sand, and stays there forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
Well,
amazing.
yeah, it is. Like even with all this COVID, the earth is actually cleaning itself.
Yes, it is. I mean, I've told you this before. There's a very popular theory that the Earth is an entity called Gaia. The Native Americans believe this, that the Earth is a living thing, right?
Yes.
And so if you for a moment believe that, or want to believe it, try to believe it, then that's what's happening. She's cleaning up the mess we made.
Yes.
COVID-19 is part of it. You know, there's too many people on the planet.
Yes.
We need to change our ways, and COVID-19 is making us do that.
Yes. Yes. And that movie, I just remembered, it's Peanut Butter Falcon.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, it's got Sheila Beth in it, Graham Greene, and it's the main actor has Down syndrome, so it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, very good. Very good movie.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. Well, they're leaving it kind of close to the wire here.
Yeah, I know.
I had a number of more people call me this afternoon about the meeting tonight. Why can't I attend?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, there's Anne, Mark. Hello.
Hi, there's no password, right, Peter?
There's no password. Hi, Mark. Hi, Rusty.
He's not connected to audio yet. Hi.
I was gonna say, I'm secretly not wearing pants. No.
It's not a
Secretly
secret.
not a secret anymore.
It's not a secret anymore, Ann.
Hey, I'm in.
Eh,
Hello?
Hello, we got you.
Okay. Oh, I was dialing the other number. They kept telling me the host wasn't there yet.
What other number?
The last Zoom.
Oh,
It changes.
yeah.
It changes every
It's a new
time.
number every time.
Oh, we didn't get that number.
You got this one.
Ann gave it to me. I was dialing the other one.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, so I guess that's not good.
no, it's a new number every time. It generates a new number every time.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter has to give it, not Diane, because he's the primary provider for Zoom.
Okay.
Can you hear us, Rusty?
Pardon?
Rusty can't hear us.
You gotta go with audio. Sign in with audio. Yeah, I got that too, where it said sign in with audio.
He doesn't have his
There we
audio
go.
turned on.
He's doing it now.
He says
Oh,
it's
it's not
connected
connecting.
to audio. He says no. I don't know if he can hear us.
Well, there's no audio on his system. I'm looking at it.
Can he hear us?
I don't know.
No, obviously not, because he's ignoring us.
Because he might have to hit his little.
Okay, Randy can't find this.
Email.
Yeah.
I started writing it down now.
Yeah, we didn't get that phone number.
It's not a phone number. It's not a phone number.
Well, that number, that 5.
No, it's a link and an ID number. Yeah.
Well, all I did was go on, press the Zoom.
Got it.
Oh, there, we hear you.
Got it.
Good, good,
Can you hear me?
good.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Your internet connection is unstable.
That makes your hearing aids rock.
Whatever that means. Yeah. Okay.
Diane,
Yes,
can you resend that email invitation to Randy?
okay. I'm looking for it
It was sent last week, I think maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
on on Wednesday, June 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, it's titled June 9th council meeting.
Yeah,
The email to search it.
okay.
Well, if he goes on his iPad and just click Zoom, and then it'll say join a meeting, then you put that 855 whatever number that, and then that's how I got in. I didn't join no link or.
I didn't even have to put anything. I just clicked on it.
Yeah, that's all you have to do is click on it.
Samuel.
You're sending it to him, Diane?
Yeah.
I am. Right now. It's gone. I sent it to him.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Don't forget to mute yourselves when the meeting starts.
There's a little icon.
Where is that mute button? All right, at the top.
Probably on top.
You're on your iPad.
So the little recording thing on the top left.
That's from Diane.
Oh,
No, that's Peter that's recording.
Oh, yes.
okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the mute button is down at the bottom left.
Oh, I see it. A little speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the mic.
Bottom left, I don't have anything.
If you're on your iPad, just touch the top and you'll see it in the corner.
What it says mute,
Yeah.
stop video, share contact, more.
Right. So if you hit
What do I hit?
the little microphone, it'll mute you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to.
I've muted everybody. You can unmute yourself, but I've muted everybody. You're
Yeah.
unmuted.
Okay. All right. So anyways, during this COVID thing, I went grocery shopping one day and I removed my gloves and my mask, and my hearing aid ended up going in the garbage with everything else. So I have I have an appointment on Thursday to get fitted, I guess, for a new hearing aid. So if I'm, trying to guess what you're saying, I'm probably guessing. So.
And she's cutting hair starting Friday.
Yep,
Oh my God, yeah.
already booked.
Yeah, my son is like, woohoo!
Yeah.
I got everybody's hair but Sam's. That was not allowed.
Right, there's the mayor.
I cut my own twice.
Oh,
Hello? Can't tell? Oh, yeah. I don't care.
I cut my dad's too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
are you there?
He's muted.
Oh,
I'm
no.
here and I just sent Jane a text message saying a link was coming because she was the one that told me I might have a problem too because she didn't know how to log in. And that's
Well,
when
okay.
I realized I didn't have a link.
That's my fault because I sent it early, but it was sent to everybody last Wednesday, Diane.
Yeah. Last.
Well, I didn't look back far enough then is the problem.
Well, that's my fault. I won't do that again. I sent it to everybody last Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, June the 3rd it was sent.
Yeah, okay. But did somebody send the link to Jane just now?
Randy did, I think.
I told her a link was coming and to look in her email. Yes.
Okay, I'll send her one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You only sent it to me then.
Yes, because I didn't know there was a problem anywhere else, so
Okay.
I'm here.
I'm just,
Hello.
Hey,
Eric too is waiting for one.
he's here.
No, I got it. I found it.
Oh, you found it? Okay.
Had to look for it.
I feel like the Brady Bunch, how they all come up in little squares.
Hollywood Squares.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. What was his name?
Paul Lynn.
Yeah, that's right. Paul Lynn.
Yep. Paul Lynn was the center square.
Yeah.
yeah.
So do we all have everybody at the same place in the squares? Like when I look at this, Peter, you're right in the middle top.
Yep. Well, I think so.
Rusty and then Eric.
I'm on top of you. Eric's below.
Okay, so we're not all showing the same thing then.
No. Peter's on the top corner. Randy's in the middle,
I'm
kind
middle
of.
top on me.
Oh,
So Jane's
yeah, last
waiting
night
on the
I had a
link.
meeting with Blue Jeans.
James what?
I had a
Just
meeting
waiting
last
on
night
the
with
link to
Blue.
log in.
Oh,
I just sent it to her.
Okay.
we used Blue Jeans last night for a meeting instead of Zoom.
Yeah. You're in your blue jeans.
We used Blue Jeans not instead of Zoom.
Oh yeah. How was that?
It was different. It was probably the same as this. There was 23 guys one from Halifax and then Ontario. Most of the guys from down south.
Oh, yeah.
And then you could do just if you couldn't get in on you could just do it through your phone. And we couldn't
you can't
see
do-
the people, but
You can do that here.
yeah.
But apparently there's 300 million people on Zoom now. 300 million.
Wow.
A year ago, they had 3 million customers. Now they have 300 million.
Crazy.
Yeah, $200 for a year for a pop. That's quite a bit of money.
And that, how many hours does that give you?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited.
Jane just replied by text that she needs a Zoom phone number and a ID, but she should just click on the link.
Yeah, that's right. I
It
can give you
should
the
be.
ID, but she doesn't need it. She just clicked on the link.
I didn't need nothing. I just joined.
Just go on her iPad and click Zoom.
Oh, there she is. There she is. She's here.
Oh, can't see her. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Jane.
She looks as happy as I felt a few minutes ago.
So, Randy, you need to unmute yourself when you start this, right? You're muted at the moment.
Yeah, I guess we're all ready to go now then.
Yep.
Okay, I take a mover and a seconder to open the meeting. A mover, moved by Jane, seconded by Rusty. That this meeting open at 7:08 PM. All in favor? Okay. Motion number 2 is that the minutes of the regular meeting and the special meeting held May 12th, 2020 be adopted as circulated. I need a mover for that first. Councillor Foisey, seconder. Councillor Baudouin. All in favor? Carried. Am I going too fast, Diane? I guess not. Okay, good.
You're good.
And just so everybody knows, it's being recorded. So if anything gets missed, and Diane never misses anything, but if she did, it's all being recorded.
Okay. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? I have one related to the disbursements. It's under APO second report 5389, and it's related to an M&R compensation for livestock compensation. And I'll fill in the form that's on my desk when I go to the municipal office.
Okay.
Any other notice, pecuniary interests? Hearing none. No presentations. Minutes and reports of committees and boards, I don't believe there is any. Okay, I see the Public Works Manager liking to speak for a moment.
I just wanted to quickly touch on the fire truck. Can I get the go-ahead to get it fixed up? For pumper 4 needs about $8,000 in work to be done to pass safety. And they're quite concerned because they did lose one truck already this year. So they feel that that it's worth to put the money into the truck. So it will pass safety. All the floorboards are rotted out of it. It needs fender wells, wheel wells, a new tire, some bearings. But I'm just putting the voice out there for council to be aware that the work needs to be done and to kind of get the head shake of approval before the budget's passed.
I could just ask one question. That sounds like mostly body work that it needs done. Is that going out to a shop or are we doing that internally?
Our mechanic that we do have, he'll do the work. He'll order all the parts and put it all back together again, the busted knuckles.
And I was talking to Dave earlier today, and he was saying that that vehicle is not one of the vehicles that we were going to get rid of. We still need that one. And the fleet, we really need all the vehicles from the fleet. So we should probably look into fixing this one and keeping it as long as we can.
As long, I think if it's worth the money that we're gonna put into it instead of, I mean, what is an 81?
Yes. It's the
Do
mini
you think-
pumper for Rutherglen.
I mean, do you think it's worth putting the 8,000 into that truck to carry us for how, I mean, for how
A
long?
few more years, yeah.
For a while longer.
I think when I rode in it in a parade 2 or 3 years ago, it has about 20,000 miles on it, even though it's 30 years old. So it's
Yeah.
probably mechanically pretty good. It's just the salt has eaten it out or something.
Exactly.
I
Okay.
think we should get it fixed.
We have a budget, how is our budget for that? Or I'm sure it's okay.
Well, we
Or,
haven't purchased anything else, and we
I
do
know.
have money for maintenance. I don't know how much, but
There's enough money there to do that.
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So I can proceed?
I don't
Yes.
think we're going to do a motion tonight, but it would seem there's
No.
support for getting it
Well,
fixed
in the
if it's in the
emails-
budget.
Yeah.
It'll be in disbursements. I just want to make you aware, sort of to get the feel that everybody's on board with it, and also so that you're aware when it does come up in disbursements.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, any other departmental stuff under the line 5 minutes of reports and committees? I don't believe there is any. The summer student thing comes up on its own later in the agenda for recreation, so. And a bit of news, I think the calcium is coming. When did you say, the 17th? Okay, because there had been a bit of social media commentary about how dusty it's getting out there, but calcium is a week from now, isn't it?
Yes, so on Wednesday, we start laying it. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we go back Monday, Tuesday. And the township will be complete.
I see. Okay. Reports of non-municipal committees and boards. Is there anything from any of those groups? Phenom, Conservation Authority, or Castle Hill? Okay, I'm seeing a no. Item 7, notice of motion. There was a notice of motion drafted and included in your paper package, but it's not forming part of the agenda tonight. Just that was my decision that it not be considered tonight, but I read it for the benefit of the group so that we're all on the same page of what it says, and then the author can speak to it if she likes in a moment, if that's all right. Okay, so I'll just read the notice of motion. Bear with me a second.
So just a question, why was it not put under notice of motion? I wanted it on the agenda for that reason.
Well, it was my decision and I accept that I'll take the heat for that, but there was a couple of items that I was hesitant to have on the agenda tonight, subdivision and the RV bylaw too, just for the fact that if we needed to go in camera or other such things, this and the other two will prove difficult in a Zoom meeting. So seeing, because at the point in time I was making that decision, we didn't know whether there was going to be public participation in the RV bylaw discussion, and there's been some emails and other things sent to the CAO related to the fact that, and I'll say it here now, we're going to defer the RV bylaw discussion tonight, or it's my hope we will, for that reason, because there's quite a number of people who wanted to be involved in the RV bylaw discussion, and we didn't and still don't have capability to do that, nor do we really have capability to go into a secure, what's that called, in-camera session. So I'll read it into the record tonight as part of the discussion. If it has, I'd say, support here tonight, we can work at whether it's tabled next meeting or not, if that's all right.
Well, no, it's not all right. I wanted it tonight. I wanted to.
Okay, well, I'll read it first, and then
Okay.
if it gains a mover and a seconder, and you're insistent that it be tabled tonight, we can.
But there's nothing wrong with tabling it and dealing with it tonight. This is very basic information. I've contacted a couple of different municipalities to see how they communicate with their council members and whatnot. And this is basically how they operate. When one asks a question, then when a reply is requested, then it gets CC to all council members so that they know what's going on as well. And it's not a surprise, and it's not, well, I had asked previous times, many times, I don't know what's going on anymore. And Peter said, if you don't know what's going on, just ask whatever questions you want. Well, when you don't know what's going on, you don't know what questions to ask. So I want to know what's going on. I want to know how come the budget is not passed yet. Are we doing any roads? I know this COVID is going on, but there's, we don't know what else is going on other than COVID. This municipality it seems to be working between Peter and Randy. It's not anybody else. We get whatever you guys decide. Okay, well today, I was talking to the mayor and we decided that we don't know anything about that. So this is what this motion is about. So we are aware of what's going on in different departments, in all departments.
Well, if it's that, I'll take some responsibility for the fact that there's been gaps in communicating the operation of the business, but it goes a bit further into when it reaches back 6 months previously. So I'll read it in so that we're all on the same page there, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So it's a notice of motion submitted by Councillor Baudouin to be included, or was to be included on the agenda for our regular meeting of council, June 9th, 2020. Whereas, over a lengthy period of time, council members have not been adequately and equally furnished with information in relation to all departments within the corporation, and further that concerns have been identified by council regarding emails and text messaging having been sent to department heads and/or managers of the corporation from the current CAO and mayor of the corporation. And whereas, council as a whole should be made aware of situations happening with all municipal departments. Be it hereby resolved that effective immediately, council requests that all communications and/or correspondence through email and/or text messages sent by the current township's mayor and CAO be copied to all members of council at all times. And further, that all previous communications and/or correspondence through email and/or text messages sent or directed to any department head or manager for the past 6 months be printed and forwarded to council by Tuesday, June 30th, 2020, and further that this resolution be forwarded to all department heads and/or managers of the Township of Bonneville. So that's what it says. It's a bit more encompassing in just demanding broader communication, in that it's asking for retroactive communications to be provided. And when I saw it, I thought, well, this needs to have a legal opinion provided to see if that's even something that council can ask for. So that's why it's held off the agenda for tonight. I think if you did want to further this, the legal opinion should be the first step that we take.
Why do you need a legal opinion? We're council members asking for information as to what's going on in their municipality. I don't think you need a lawyer's decision for that.
Well, it gets more complicated in that you're looking for all email and text messages by the current township's mayor and CAO. So in my particular case, I use a personal phone for all of my text messages and I guess
Just the
none of
ones
my
that are
emails,
pertaining to council, that are pertaining to, I don't need all your text messages and all your whatever. I need it when it's pertaining to public works or planning or bylaw or stuff like that. Those are the ones that we want. Just to not the ones that you're going to talk to your wife or somebody in another community or whatever. The ones that are pertaining to us, the municipality. There should be no secrets. We're all working together, or should be, but I don't feel like we are anymore. I don't feel like we know anything about what's going on anymore. So this is why this is, and 6 months from now, that's January 1st. So it's just, let's get caught up on what's going on starting January 1st and go from there. So that way we know what went on and what's going on and what's going to happen, where we're at. What happened in the last 6 months? I don't know. I have no idea what happened. COVID happened. I know that, but that's it. What's going on with our budget? What's going on with our roads? Are we doing any roads? I don't know. Nothing is said. So this is why this motion is important, and we're going to have a lot of literature to do to catch up for the last 6 months of what. No sense in asking for 3 months. It's been COVID. So let's just go to January 1st. That way we can all be aware of what went on in the last 6 months. So
just as an example, a month or so ago, the fire ban sign was still on at, here's how it started. I got a few calls asking if the fire ban was still on. And I was nearby the Rutherglen fire station. So the caller had said, the sign is still up, fire ban. Is it on or not? And I said, well, I think it ended last night at midnight because that was a provincial decision. But he says, well, the sign's still up. So I said, okay. I said, I'll confirm if it's been lifted, which I did with Peter by text message. And then I called the person back and I said, it's been lifted as of midnight, but you are right, because I drove over to the station. The sign was still up and I took it down. But as part of that action, I sent both yourself and Councillor Viancore a text message related to that, just to keep the fire department in the loop.
yes, that was perfect.
But under that, I would have had to text message Jane and Eric, and as a courtesy, I probably should have also texted the chief and the deputy chief then too. So some of these things, it's a habit of mine. I only communicate with the department affected for the most part.
It's not much harder to communicate to everybody, just so everybody knows what's going on.
Like, it's nothing to click
See
reply
everybody.
all.
Mm-hmm.
Click reply all. Everybody knows what's going on. There should be no secret. There should be no micromanaging. There should be no, it should be a municipality that works together, that knows what's going on, so we can all contribute to what we need to contribute. If it's pertaining to the fire department and it's not, it's got nothing to do with Eric or Jane, well, they're going to get the email anyways, just out of, so they know what's going on as well.
CC us, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not
just as a point of view, I'll say I thought I was doing a good thing telling the two of you, whereas I should have just went and took the sign down and maybe not said nothing in the past, but text messaging is so handy and easy, I thought I'd just let you know. I can improve on that, but other times I would have just took the sign down and left it at that. So
And that was good with the text. I'm okay with that.
but like I say, the notice of motion speaks to something greater than a request for better communication is what I'm saying. So
Well, no, not really. It's directly like what happened with that? What happened with the planning? What happened with, oh, by the way, we're working on a new bylaw. By the way, we're working on this. There's so many different things that, you know, that we need to know what's going on so that I can say, well, you know, we've been working on this particular bylaw for like, it seems 5 years. How come it's not out yet? Well, because I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know, has it been put on the back burner? Is it, did it get, you know, forgotten? So if we knew what was getting worked on or, oh, by the way, this has been done, so now it gets, you know, it's got to be reviewed. Don't know. We don't know anything. So this is what this is going to do. It's going to allow everybody, the council, to know what's going on in their municipality, so that if somebody asks us something, oh yeah, I remember reading an email about that. You know, and you have something to say. Right now, I got nothing to say to anybody, really.
well, again, not arguing the point, but that really is how it is right now. And I'm not, when you say, I don't know what's happening as far as the budget, I don't know what's happening as far as are we doing roads, I don't either. Like, there's been none of those conversations happening, but you don't know that they haven't happened. So I get that. But the only thing I know is the CAO said to me a week or two ago, would you consider canceling the June 20 whatever meeting, the next regular scheduled council meeting, cancel it, and in lieu of it, have a budget meeting, because sooner or later we're going to have a budget. And I said, yes, that's something we could do. But as far as making decisions on the budget, there hasn't been anything done other than the documents that have been sent to us. As far as deciding if there's going to be any road construction or other such things, there's been nothing done. So just
this
using
is
all
what
of that
we
as
all
examples.
to be informed about. You know, this is all stuff that we need to know. So we can know what's going on, basically.
A communication to one council member should be a communication to all. That's all I said.
Pardon?
A communication to one council member should be known by all.
Yes. I agree.
There is some, if it's coming just as information, that's okay. If you're expecting it to turn into, and we do it occasionally, we circulate a memo saying, like the fire truck tonight, we say, you know, if you have a big time opposition to the fire truck being refurbished, you better reply now, kind of thing. We've done that in the past. The Municipal Act is pretty clear that outside of a council meeting, decisions shouldn't be made and they're not legal. So if you're sending out an email seeking votes back, that's poor practice. And we've gotten away from that more and more because that's how it should be. But as far as advising what's happening, I have no problem with that. Where we were with it was Peter's Friday heads up report pretty well had a checklist of all the things that were going on municipally that week. That hasn't been coming for the past probably 8 or 9 weeks or so. Looking at the CAO, it's been supplanted more with the ECG minutes.
Well, we're getting those minutes every week after, we're getting the reports of those minutes every week, and that's good. Everybody gets them.
But
that's
as
all we're
far as
getting.
decisions
That's
of
all
the
we're getting.
municipality, that is the only decisions that have been made by
Well,
administration or by council, I should say. And I'm not rubbing nose when I say it. I'm just saying that it's been put to me 2 weeks in a row as the mayor under a state of emergency. What do you want to do about the skate park? And it's my sole decision, but I said, well, the longer we can leave it closed, the better, because of the washroom cleaning, the sanitization and everything else. Typically, that would be a council, well, it's never a council decision. The department just opens it when the season is right, usually. But under the state of emergency, everybody in the room, when that question came up, looked at me, because staff don't want to make the decision of that under the state of emergency circumstances. So I just deferred it for the time being. The province, the day after, has loosened up all of the parameters around that for the most part. Groups of 10 now instead of 5 and all of that. So come next Monday, in all likelihood, we're going to have to move forward with opening the skate park and other things. But if you're looking for evidence that there was big decisions made, there hasn't been outside of the ECG meeting, and I think that's about the only decision I've made in the past 2 weeks. So is to defer opening of the skate
Too
park.
much to be reported then. So I think I'd like to move it anyways and see where it goes from there.
Okay, it's not part of the agenda package tonight, but if there's a seconder tonight that agrees to table it, that would show that it has, that it can be, I guess, forced onto
Well,
the
it's in our
agenda. All that
packet.
as chair of the meeting.
It's in our
Pardon?
packet.
Yes, it was put in there as information, yes.
Yeah, well, you didn't have the authority to remove it. I
Well-
wanted it on the agenda.
Yeah,
I wanted it on the agenda and you removed it. So,
Yes.
but it came in our package, so it's still on the agenda.
okay. And I'm not arguing again, but I'm just stating, under the state of emergency, I'm being gracious in allowing this council meeting because it's not necessary either. So when that's just to help facilitate us operating as a normal council under a state of emergency. There's no burden upon me to have a council meeting right now. When this crossed my table, along with the RV bylaw and the subdivision, it put us in a position where we're in difficult conversation in a virtual format. So this particular one, because I see some inherent legal issues in it, I asked that it be communicated by putting it in the package so that I wasn't sweeping it under the rug. But at the same time, my opinion last Friday, when I was asked whether it should be part of the agenda or not, is that it shouldn't be considered tonight until this discussion was held. And hearing the rationale about why it was there, we would accept a legal opinion prior to voting on it. But if you want to force it to decision tonight without the legal opinion can come after. It doesn't matter.
Well, I don't really think there should be a legal opinion, or that there is a legal opinion required. And I think we should move this. When you declared a state of emergency, that was, regarding the COVID, but it wasn't the delegation of authority we still have our vote. We still have the right to vote. We still have the right to speak. And I would like this to pass this evening. I would like to move it this evening and go from there. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. But I put it on the agenda for this evening and for the end of the month. So it gives 3 weeks. Then the next meeting, which would be June, you're talking about removing that meeting for a budget meeting. So it's not going to pass until, whenever after that. So for the next meeting, which will probably be July. So I would like to deal with this evening.
I see. Okay, I'm saying it could be voted on this evening if it has a seconder and if it carries. but it's still going to be subject to a legal opinion in my opinion, but
Sure, go ahead.
So
Okay.
who would decide that? Right?
the legal opinion,
Yeah, like, I mean, that after if it passes,
well,
would it be
that's what I was
decided?
saying tonight. Basically, there's going to be an expense for the legal opinion. We'll know if it has feet or not, or support at the council level if we do a vote tonight to send it for a legal opinion. If that carries, we know that people want this implemented, and it'll likely carry when it's tabled. That was my reason.
Well, there should be no reason for a legal consultation. We're asking for what went on in the municipality in the last 6 months. So there should not be any legal required.
But you're also asking management to
You want
provide,
legal department on this.
you're also asking management to provide all their communications related to stuff. So I'm certain, I don't see everything that happens internally as far as staff relations and all of that. So it's a broader request than maybe what you think it is.
Why?
Well, it's basically asking the CAO to open his diary and show it to council of all his staff inter-office stuff. So,
Well, there should be no secrets. We're all in the same council. We're all working together. We're not working against each other. So there shouldn't be any
no,
secrets
there's
among council members.
a great deal of
Confidential
having
stuff?
been on both versions of an administration. When I first became the mayor and before the CAO format was adopted, there was a lot of the personnel committee was in effect, and there was a lot of decisions made very hands-on by council that now council doesn't have input in, like a hiring of an employee. There's a new employee in Public Works that if I hadn't seen him driving the truck, I wouldn't know who it is. So like hiring, firing, discipline, all kinds of things. And I'm just speaking on behalf of the CAO right now. And if he chooses to speak for himself, that's fine. But I'm saying there's a lot of communication must go on that back in the day, council had awareness of, that quite frankly, I don't want awareness of anymore because it's not council's role. And then at the same time, if I'm sending an email, and I sent a few this week to a taxpayer that wrote in to complain about the road and how it was graded and everything else, it's not.
Well, first of
it's
all,
not,
you shouldn't be the one to write to the taxpayer. It should be the CAO. But if you're writing to a taxpayer, we don't need to know that you're writing to a taxpayer. The CAO, if the CAO feels that there's something with that particular taxpayer that council needs to be aware of, then he can share that information. But if it's regarding, there's some stuff that we don't need to know, and as far as those particulars. But I'd like to know what's going on in the municipality, not just what you want to tell me or not tell me. It's just, like I said, we're not aware of anything that's going on in this municipality. And this is why I think this is going to be important. So anyways, I would like to pursue with moving this and seconding it. And if it goes, it goes. If not, then we don't need to worry about it.
I see. Okay, is there a mover for this then? Or a seconder, I should say? Okay, I see Councillor Foisey has seconded the motion. Is there any other discussion or questions or anything that anybody wants to ask on it?
Well, my only concern is the legal thing that you brought up, so the opinion.
Well, I can be pretty certain that there's going to be a request for a legal opinion on the validity of it, that's all.
As long as we're informed.
And the timeline of that would be what? could be.
Oh, I think most lawyers would look at that and say, there again, it's not for me to give an opinion, but they're going to be yay or nay pretty fast just by what it says.
Yeah, and I don't see a reason why they wouldn't allow it. This is our municipality, and I think we should be allowed to. Like I said, we're not asking for your firstborn or your last 10 years. We're asking for 6 months.
Mhm.
6 months is there. Like you said, if there isn't that much that went on, then there's.
But at the same time, if I was to say, if it was something I wrote yesterday and it's none of your business, it doesn't matter whether it's 6 months or 6 hours. I mean, it's just
Well, if
what
it's
it
none
is.
of my business.
I'm not saying there's
it's not-
anything there. I'm just saying that it's the point of view. That's all.
Whatever is municipal business
Hmm.
is what I would like to know. If it's not municipal business, I don't need to know. I don't need to know your business. I just want municipal business.
Well, like I said before, I try to communicate anything that I think is municipal business already, but obviously there's a differing point of view. Okay, so are there any other questions on it at all? Would you like a recorded vote on this, anybody?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Diane, you're gonna take that because you have to go by an order. I'll allow you to call the recorded vote, please.
Recorded vote requested by Councillor Baudouin. Baudouin Sylvie, for or opposed?
For. Yeah. No.
Eric Foisey, for or opposed?
4.
Jane Legacy, for or opposed?
Opposed.
Mark Vaillancourt, for or opposed?
I'll go 4.
And Randall McLaren, for or opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed. Resolution carried.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Introduction, consideration of bylaws, none this meeting. Disbursements, we have 2. I take a mover and a seconder for, they're combined as a total disbursement. I take a mover for that. Councillor Baudouin. See 3 hands up for the seconding. Okay, Councillor Legacy for the seconding of the disbursements. Any questions on those? And I had previously declared the interest in the 1 line item.
The only thing I see is did we buy masks from East Ferris or for East Ferris? From?
Yes,
Okay.
from the fire department.
Oh, okay.
Question on grader blades, is that for that rental grader? What that is, oh yeah?
So we rent and I guess just wear and tear on our part.
It doesn't have the same bolt holes. They're larger bolt hole on the demo graders.
Okay.
Any other questions on the disbursements?
One on the boom, what is that? Install main boom?
So on the backhoe, the extenda boom hose, it runs inside the boom. So that hose broke. So we had to
Okay.
replace that and tear the whole boom apart to put it in.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions on the disbursements? All in favor? Carried. Correspondence and information. The first one is the Corporation of the Town of Fort Erie request to support for high-speed internet connectivity in rural Ontario. Anybody want to support the Town of Fort Erie and their request for support?
Don't we all need that?
Yeah.
Don't we all need that broadband?
Looks like I have a mover in Councillor Viancore. Seconded in Councillor Foisey. I got the motion here. It says that the Corporation of the Township of Bonfield supports the Corporation of the Town of Fort Erie and the Township of Armour's resolutions on the need to make substantial investments in high-speed internet connectivity in rural areas, and that a copy of this resolution be circulated to the Town of Fort Erie and the Township of Armour. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Next one is item 2. It's coming under separate motions. Junior firefighter application, A. Bowman. I'd take a mover and a seconder for that. I have a mover in Councillor Lagasse and a seconder in Councillor Foisey. Whereas Fire Chief Gilles Lebel has recommended to Council that the application submitted by Alexander Bowman be accepted as a junior firefighter for the Township of Bonfield's Volunteer Fire Department. Be it hereby resolved that Council approves of this recommendation. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. And then firefighter application, James Holmes. Take a mover and a seconder for it. Mover is Councillor Baudouin, seconder is Councillor Viancore. Whereas Fire Chief Gilles Lebel has recommended to Council that the application submitted by James Holmes be accepted as a firefighter for the Township of Bonfield's Volunteer Fire Department. Be it hereby resolved that Council approves of this recommendation. Any questions? All in favor?
He looks pretty qualified.
Carried. Pardon?
He looks pretty qualified.
Yeah,
He has a lot of.
wonder why he's worked for both of the neighbors sometimes, but
Yeah.
okay. Next item, item 3, the Gagne draft subdivision agreement. And there is a fresh memo that came today from Doug related to that. I'm hoping everybody saw that. He indicated in it that the street name component and the 5% in lieu matters are basically good to go, but it was his recommendation that the township engineer and Public Works and council as a whole have an opportunity to review the draft plan and satisfy themselves that the township interest is being provided before we give them an agreement in principle. So I have motions prepared. Diane, is the pre-prepared motions in their council package as well, or am I surprising them with what I read here?
No, everybody was provided with them.
Okay, okay. So motion number 7 then, related to item 3 on the agenda. I take a mover and a seconder for it then, please. That's related to the 5% in lieu. Mover, Councillor Baudouin. Seconder is Councillor Lagasse. Whereas Council has received a request from Mr. Jules Gagne that Council accepts the appraisal submitted in July of 1994, re-block 12, which was used as part of the amendment as the 5% in lieu of parkland of the total parcel's fair market value before development in the amount of $1,500. And that Mr. Gagne be advised that he must convey the agreed upon amount of the land included in the plan to the Township of Bonfield for park purposes. Any questions?
So you had sent an email saying, so you had sent an email saying that he's gonna have to pay roughly about 50,000. And then Doug sent his letter saying that that amount, the appraisal is 1,500. Is
From
in fact
94.
5% in lieu of.
Yeah, the difference being, because Doug did call me on that yesterday to explain the difference. Backing up a step, the subdivision needed to use block 12 to increase the frontages, which is the debate we had with Mr. Gagne a year ago. So we came to the understanding, council and him, that he could use block 12 to increase the size of the other lots. So we all knew block 12 didn't exist anymore, but it didn't matter because our policy changed 25 years ago, and we don't want little chunks of land all over the township that just grow brush. We want cash instead that goes into the parkland reserve. So the lot was sizable, and that's where I come up with the 50,000 was if you're asking an appraiser to go out today and appraise a 4-acre lot in a subdivision at $10,000 or $12,000 an acre, that's going to be the 50,000. What Doug explained to me yesterday was under the Planning Act, when that subdivision received its draft plan of approval in 94, that locked the value in time and stone of what the appraisal value should be. It's a clear line item in the Planning Act that at that point in time, when that action happened and he received the draft plan of subdivision, the value of block 12 was capped at or appraised at 1,500. So even though it's been 27 years now, 1,500 is still what it's worth because of that action. So that's how, when he explained it to me, I said, well, if that's the case, that's the case. That's all there is to it. So.
Okay.
Any other questions on that at all? All in favor? Carried. Okay, there's another motion related to that. That was for the 5%. The street signs, I take a mover, street names, I should say. I take a mover and a seconder for the motion on the street names. Motion moved by Councillor Foisey, seconded by Councillor Vinecore. Whereas council has received a request from Mr. Jules Gagne to name Eric Street by requesting that Eric Street continues east and north and Laurier Street continues east to Eric Street. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this request and that Mr. Gagne be advised to obtain the appropriate signage from the township at his expense and to advise the township immediately after installation so that the municipal mapping may be updated and emergency services contacted. Any questions on that one? All in favor? Carried. And then the third one was in your package as motion 9, but did everybody see Doug's memo of today? In that when we had that same conversation when we discussed about the 5% in lieu, he was of the opinion that Mr. Boucher, Antoine, had already discussed with council the drainage and other stuff related to the subdivision. I know, Anne, you have been working, or I think you've been working with Antoine and Mr. Gagne related to that, but we've never discussed this at a public works committee meeting, I don't think. Eh?
No, so we have our subdivision standards that Antoine worked with Mr. Gagne on. Oh shoot, sorry, my window's open. No noise bylaws. Anyways, it's been discussed with him that we do have concerns with street lighting, drainage issues. So there still has to be some investigation and some more consultation with council as to how we're going to direct them to do so.
I see. Okay, but it was Doug's opinion today that if and when or how, it could be virtual, I guess, council needs to go through that plan with the engineer prior to accepting it in principle. So I would ask that we defer motion. It would have been motion 9 for tonight. There'll be a change, Diane, in your sequences. Now, if we cast aside motion 9 for tonight, that's all.
So would you like me to arrange for Antoine to join us shortly at a meeting?
I think our budget is more pressing, so I'll say no for tonight, but
Okay.
we should have a Public Works Committee meeting virtually soon too, I think, so,
Okay.
okay.
So is Mr. Gagne having to wait to resume what he's trying to do because of this motion, or can he continue on and do what he needs to do?
I think it's a point of view in that Doug said today, our new, because we adopted it a year or two ago, our new subdivision policy that we have is very clear what needs to be done. It's that as tabled by Mr. Gagne right now, it's less than what that requires. So who wants to tell him that is up. You know, that's what I said to Doug. I said, we're in a quandary here in that our advocate that's supposed to be defending the township interest in Mr. Boucher, he's our engineer that reviews these things on our behalf because none of us are experts on it, is also the guy that Mr. Gagne is using to help him build the plan for pay. And I said, it shouldn't be the same guy. Like if I want to, if a plan gets drafted and I say, okay, I got this plan, I don't understand it, I want a peer review, it shouldn't be from the same person. So,
Yeah. I was going to say, so if Antoine, which is the engineer, is telling him how to do it, there's a pretty good possibility that he's going to do it according to the engineer. Or is that a direct conflict of interest?
yes,
Because he's getting paid from us and he's getting paid from Gilles. So I agree with you, Randy, that I don't know that it should be the same guy.
well, he's not being paid from us yet. What we got was a retainer from Jules. And as part of that retainer, I guess we asked Antoine to work with Mr. Gagne to build this. Is that what happened, Anne?
Actually, Mr. Gagne does have his own engineer. So the plans that was engineered by his engineer has been sent to our engineer. However, it doesn't cost the township. So Mr. Gagne has to put a deposit down in order for us to be able to pay Antoine for his services. So Antoine has reviewed the plans and he has given direction as to where he believes more work needs to be done. And like I said, the retainer is there to ensure that Mr. Gagne pays our engineer to review those plans and to make sure that his subdivision is built on the interests and in agreement with our subdivision policy.
Okay, so it sounds like then all that's missing is us meeting with Antoine, going through the agreement, him pointing out the shortcomings, if there is any, and us responding. Is that where it sits?
Correct, correct.
We'll do that at our next Public Works meeting then,
Okay,
or next available opportunity.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so we've set that aside. Motion 9 as it was drafted in your package. Item 4, City of Brantford, Essential Workers Day, March 17th. Effectively, they're wanting to turn St. Patrick's Day into Essential Workers Day by the looks of it. Anybody have any desire to support that motion? Hearing none, I guess. Okay. Item 5, the report from the Public Works Manager regarding glass recycling. If you want to speak to that for a moment, Anne, your report is pretty clear. It's just we're able to now, I guess.
Yes, I believe in the past they didn't recycle glass within the township because there was nobody really to take it and the costs were quite large. Miller Waste Systems now does pick up glass recycling, and it would be the same concept we already have. It's a depot, it'd be a bin, It is the same cost as that we're currently paying. We've had slight discussions at our Public Works Committee meeting about the new legislation they're trying to put into effect about the Resource and Productivity and Recovery Authority, so that producers would be responsible for paying townships for their recycling costs, etc. And also it's a mandate by the government of Ontario that we do all we can for waste diversion. I think this would support our waste diversion, and it would give us a increase in that mandate by the province. And it would also be good just all around to do that for ourselves and to keep the landfill from filling up with glass.
Okay. In the past, council elected not to recycle glass because the cost to haul it away was a financial burden, and in the day they said, we don't recycle it anyway, so you can bury it here or we'll bury it at North Bay on your behalf. So that's where it used to be. I guess that's not the case anymore.
Right.
Okay. So is there,
Oh,
somebody's muted.
yeah.
There used
Go
to be a
ahead.
time when you would recycle to make money. Like I remember being in Brownies and collecting all the newspapers in town in a little wagon, and then you bring that in and you got money for it. And that money was used to go to the Girl Guides camp for a few days or a week or something. So it's like nothing is, you know, they try to encourage people to recycle, yet it's costing an arm and a leg, and we don't get much of anything for anything anymore.
With the new, with the RPRA, the Resource and Productivity Resource Authority, they're trying to change that so that people that produce those recyclable materials are going to pay us to recycle them. So if we can get this into our plan, once that transition happens, we will receive money to recycle their garbage basically on behalf of the producers.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it's going to come to. It's not like we'll be paid directly for our marketable recyclables. We will be paid to kind of collect it on their behalf
Okay.
instead.
Okay.
Okay, is there a mover and a seconder for what will be motion 9, I guess? The mover is Councillor Foisey, seconder is Councillor Baudouin, that the Public Works Manager recommends to Council that Council of the Township of Bonfield consider adding glass recycling to our waste diversion program. All in favor? Carried. Item 6, option to cover personal data use by members of council during electronic council meetings and other committee meetings. It was circulated by email that by the CAO that consideration be given in that regard. Where did I lose my?
And the email was just council meetings, but doesn't matter.
Was there a prepared motion on that, Diane? No? Okay, so is that an information item or are we voting on that tonight?
No, it's just for information purposes.
Okay, thank you.
It's up to them to see if they want to go ahead and submit an invoice. That's the form they would use.
I see. Okay, thank you.
But I don't have any extra expense for meetings.
That's
has
only
it
for
for-
those. That's only for those that are using their proper personal data.
Why would they?
Well, if
For
you shut
council
off the
meetings?
personal data, if you shut off the personal data and you just use the township data, then it's the township that's going to pay for it anyways. Oh,
No, Jane. Jane, okay.
Yep,
All right.
go ahead, Jane.
I also have meetings with North Bay Mattawa Conservation. I also started the caremongering group on Facebook, and I've been getting calls and messaging on my personal phone regarding citizens that need help. And, you know, that $20 just may help me because I don't put in invoice for gas receipts or anything else. So that's up to you, Councillor Fwizzy, but I'm
But it's
telling
just
you
for
it's
council
going to help
meetings.
me.
Just for
It's
council
going to help me.
meetings. Yeah.
It's for data that's being used on my cell and on my computer so that I can call into North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority for those meetings also.
Conservation Authority should be helping you out, not us.
My personal opinion, when it was tabled or suggested that that was going to be circulated as a thing, much like if I took somebody visiting in the day when you could, if you took them out for lunch and they were, I don't know, nosing around about Bonfield Township wanting to build something here, their surprise incidental expenses that are the cost of doing business, and we're virtually forced into having these virtual council meetings right now. So I didn't see a problem with it. If someone chooses to put in their expense claim for that, it's no different than a lunch or anything else that we'd incur out of the norm. That's
But
just my thoughts on it.
It's up
Yeah, I
to
agree.
the individual. It's up to the individual. If you want to, it's there.
And it'll show in the disbursements as a discussion point then anyway. So it's still going to be tracked and subject to a vote.
That's right.
no, we should have a vote on it. Because it says for municipal Zoom council meetings on the email. That's what it said. And now you're adding committees, and now you're adding.
I attend those meetings by Zoom.
Yeah, you can use your council iPad for that, can't you? Why not?
Because my agenda comes on an email, and I need my computer and the iPad so that I can read the agenda. For
No,
me
you
to go
can
to
toggle
North
back
Bay
and forth.
for me to go to North Bay and get the hard copy just wouldn't make sense when we've always received the soft copies.
You can toggle back and forth.
So what I'm
One
hearing,
computer.
Diane, is we're going to do a kind of a surprise motion. So if you want to write what I say, I'll try and keep it simple. It's just that that council endorses. Whoop, I better give you a minute.
Yeah, give me a second. Need a blank one. Okay.
That council supports the reimbursement for data under the policy circulated. And it's not
What
really
policy?
a policy, it's just an invoice form, but
That's not a policy. Don't say policy. There's no policy.
well, I'm the mayor and I should be hearing the motions, so maybe you'd like to suggest one then, sir. Maybe earning your council pay for once.
All I've got is that council supports the reimbursement for forms circulated for
Data
data.
for virtual meetings.
Okay.
Or Zoom council meetings, right?
There a mover and a seconder for that?
Do you want me to reread it?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
please.
Okay, that council supports the reimbursement forms circulated for data for virtual meetings.
One more time.
That council supports the reimbursement forms circulated for data for this virtual meetings. There's something missing there.
With no money, there's no money attached to it.
the form speaks to $20 a meeting, and we could
Okay, yeah, okay.
add a
Yeah,
line that it's $20 or it,
Or whatever.
no, it's not
That's fine.
$20 a meeting, it's $20, I think, but
Well, the thing is, our Zoom, our iPad has
Paid
Zoom.
for.
So it's up to us to use Zoom, or to use our iPad to use Zoom and go on the township's data, like on our iPad data. That
I'm
way,
using my.
if we go over with that, then the township is paying for it anyways. So,
But I don't have my agenda on my computer. I only get it on my iPad.
I think
don't
what
get
we're
your
losing here,
agenda.
I think
yeah,
what we're losing here in the discussion is that Jane could drive to North Bay and pick up a hard copy at the Conservation Authority and invoice us $45 for 90 kilometers instead of charging $20 and saving herself a trip to North Bay. So if we want a penny pinch, maybe we should think about adopting this policy.
He doesn't get the email with the agenda, no? I don't understand.
I cannot read an email on the iPad and do Zoom at the same time. No more than I can do, read my agenda off the iPad and do Zoom as Councillor Baudouin. We already saw what happened when she was trying to go back and forth trying to read it.
I had no problem. Anyways, it's possible.
Okay, is there a mover for the motion?
Anyways.
Mover is Councillor Viancore. Any seconder for the motion? Councillor Lagasse? Any further questions or discussion?
Yeah, recorded vote, please.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, Sylvie Baudouin, for or opposed?
can you read the,
That council supports the reimbursement form circulated for data to be used for virtual meetings.
well, when I was talking about it, last week, they told me to use my computer for,
Your iPad for the meetings.
the iPad for the meeting and the, my computer for the agenda. That's what I was gonna do if I didn't pick up the hard copy.
Are you for using the form and getting reimbursed or not?
I'm gonna say no,
You're opposed?
yes.
Eric Foisey,
Opposed.
Jane Legacy, for or opposed? For. Mark Vaillancourt, for or opposed?
For.
And Randall McLaren, for or opposed?
For.
For. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
So just one question. Those are just for council meetings, right?
Virtual meetings.
Virtual meetings, that's
Oh, no.
what the motion says.
Wow. That's not what the email said. It says municipal Zoom
We're
council
not voting on
meetings.
the email.
Hey?
We're not voting on the email. We vote on the motion.
Mm.
I don't see it being a big expense either way.
Me either.
Moving to item 7, bylaw 2018-6, that's the RV bylaw that I spoke to earlier. It was the opinion of the CAO based on the number of customer contacts that he had and the fact that irregardless of what we do as far as a decision on it, you can't leave a vacuum. There has to be some policy coming to replace whatever change we might make. because it's part of the zoning bylaw. It's not as simple as just being a policy that's either in place or not. So do you care to speak to that, CAO, or have I covered the gist of why we're deferring it?
Yes, you have.
Pardon? I
You're
have?
muted.
I have nothing further to say on it. You covered it, Your Worship, yes.
Okay, thank you. Everybody okay then with that? Item 8, corporate memo from the Recreation and Fitness Secretary regarding hiring one summer student. There is pre-prepared motion number. Where did I see that now? Clerk, I'm lost. Okay, I have it here. Is there not a pre-prepared motion for that?
No, there's not.
Okay. Well, the page in the council agenda is pretty straightforward to serve as the motion.
Can I ask a question regarding that? Like the RV bylaw, there's a section in the back. There's that one page in the back where they're trying to change from commercial to like, what is that? What is that? Why is that attached to the RV? Yeah, this one and then behind there.
Well, there's a whole section in the zoning bylaw, but the RVs are just one aspect of all of that. So there's probably some extra information in there related to a variety of other things that have nothing to do with the RVs specifically, but it forms part of the same, pages and schedules of the zoning bylaw.
To change the zoning from commercial, highway and service to rural.
That
Right.
bylaw,
Pardon?
that bylaw has other issues, zoning issues in it. The recreational vehicle was only to clear up the definitions and extended from 90 days to 120 days. But the rest of the bylaw deals with other zoning issues. It's not just the recreational vehicle issues. It deals with other issues as well.
So are we okay there to move on to the summer student subject? Just for the ease of forming a motion, that the memorandum that's in your package from Andre, just the first line in it, the Recreation Committee is seeking approval to hire one summer student commencing on June 22nd and ending on August 28th, 2020. That should form the motion. And if that makes it easier for you, Diane. There's rationale after that of what it costs and all of that. Has Andre discussed this with the chair and vice chair of recreation to speak to it at all?
Well, we haven't had a meeting for a while, so I guess we usually try and get two, but yeah, she just the first I see of this today
They're only
in
paying
the
us
email.
for one. So we thought we'd get the one anyways, and to help with public works and if there's anything to do
whatever.
in the park and whatnot.
My question when I saw it in there was, what are they going to do? Like, the office is basically in a lockdown right now to even, citizens coming and going, and the library's offering curbside and all this. It explains there that basically this employee is going to be a public works additional laborer is what I can see, but
But with the parks opening up this weekend, so next week there'll be parks opening up. I'm sure they could find something to do.
as always with these, it's just the supervision is the thing that is kind of the concern that I have. And that would, as it's indicated here, I think fall to Public Works. Ann, do you have anything to say on it at all?
I know that a motion did go through Parks and Rec for the application for funding, I believe. I think with COVID, usually with the students, we kind of just keep them on grass, cutting grass, trimming grass, and then usually on Canada Day, they would assist with Parks and Recreation's festivities. So I still feel the need for the student for that reasoning, where I could have somebody flagging and getting road work done instead of putting someone to cut grass.
Okay, and just to be clear, there is no funding from any source. This is just straight out of the 5,600 comes right out of the budget, but it's in the budget according to Andre.
Yes. So we split usually the two students.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody want to move and second this to bring it forward? Moved by Councillor Baudouin, seconded by Councillor Vinecourt. And I'll just, Diane's following here, that the Recreation Committee is seeking approval to hire one summer student commencing on June 22nd and ending on August 28th, 2020. Any
Hereby
questions?
resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
Sure, yes. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Under information, DSAB, the thank you for the essential workers. The health unit, the audited financial statements are in our package. DSAB letter to the Solicitor General regarding OPP detachment boards in the discussion paper. That one caught me a bit by surprise because at the Police Service Board session in January that I attended, there was pretty vigorous debate amongst the group there that day from all across Ontario related to these OPP detachment boards. And no mention whatsoever was ever tabled about DSABs being in charge of policing. And as you see, the letter from our DSAB is that, and there again, Mark King has a point, he's not exactly right, but in the case of our DSAB, it's composed of half of City of North Bay representatives, which have their own police force. Why they would govern OPP services for the rest of us is beyond reasonable. So I'm certain that the Ontario Association of Police Services Boards as an entity will have a strong voice in opposition to this, but certainly the DSABs also have a strong opposition to it. So it's going to come from both sides. So I wouldn't see that moving any further. But that's just a point of view that I have at the moment. Unfinished business, the Agricultural Society requesting sponsorship regarding their fall fair, August 15th and 16th. And there is a pre-prepared motion on that.
I do have news regarding that. They will not, as far as I know, be having a fall fair. However, they do need to do repairs on the fairgrounds, but that's in prepare for an event.
So you're saying they're not having a fair now?
No, not that I know of.
I see.
It was supposed to be in August and it's still.
Is this something that we wish to refer for tonight, or do we want to either approve it or remove it from the agenda tonight?
Can we refer at another meeting?
Okay.
Thank
Might be
you.
better if we get some official announcement of what they're doing,
Thank you.
because it's worded as a sponsorship of the fair, and if there's no fair, well.
Okay.
Okay. There's no other business other than the confirmatory bylaw.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
did we, it's regarding Bill 68, the Modernization Act. Have we done that?
The
Peter?
what act, sorry?
It's called the it's Bill 68, the Modernization Act. It's
Tough one.
the council staff relation policy. And that was supposed to be done, I think, in, I'm not sure when exactly. Do we have one of those? Peter?
Not at the moment.
Can we get one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Just marked it down there, that's all for,
Pardon?
I just marked it down what you
Okay.
called it there for future reference, that's all. Because
Okay.
I wasn't aware of Bill 68 at all. Okay, so are we ready to move to confirmatory bylaw then? I take a mover and a seconder for it. Moved by Councillor Legacy, seconded by Councillor Vinecorp. Whereas council deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session. Be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council from May 12th, 2020 to June 9th, 2020 be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2020-15, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. All in favor? Carried. Motion number, I think it's going to be, doesn't matter what number, the clerk's taking care of that. That this meeting be adjourned at 8:28. Is it really 8:28? 8:28 p.m. I take a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Councillor Baudouin, seconded by Councillor Foisey. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Good night.
Night. Thanks.
Right.